Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well today. We're talking about a real topic, not a theoretical topic. And this is selling off your stuff. This is the perfect time. We're stuck in that twilight, sort of at the edge of the twilight of tax season, meaning that the people that got their tax returns back in early February to March have burned through the vast majority of it. Most of them have. Some of you guys might still have a little bit of cash laying around. But it burned off the excess inventory, most specifically the lower price excess inventory off the market, meaning that there's not as much stuff out there to buy. So if you list your stuff and get it out there right now, by the time the people that just had to pay on April 15th build a little bit of money back up, they're going to start wanting to buy your stuff that you've got out there. So we're going to talk about this. I'm going to discuss this. We're going to go into all these selling points. Now, I haven't made a video like this for 2 years. I thought I made one 3 months ago, but 2 years feels like 3 months. I guess when we're getting to our old age in here. But anyway, let's stay young by having some fun and selling some stuff. And I got a couple new points that I added in that weren't in any of my other videos coming up. First point, and I think it's first point in almost every one of these selling videos, is to really think long and hard about if you really want to sell it. If you're going to sell some stuff, you're looking around, it's real easy to go, that's fetching a high price. But if you look down the road and you want to buy it back, it might be hard to get back. Or it might cost you $200 more to buy it back down the road, and it would be counterproductive, waste of your time. So think about this. Now, I've owned Spotter twice. There's no chance Fansaway is going to reissue this exactly the same. It'd be a 2.0. Something's wrong with the tooling. So with that, this is one of those things that if you're a Fansaway's purist, then you probably want this. But if they do a 2.0, which they haven't said they're doing one, then this might drop to a $100 set. So there's really no telling what's going to happen here. I dumped both my sets. I had one, sold it, bought a bunch of other stuff, and then I came across another one, and I was like, cool, I want it back in my collection. And then someone wanted to give me $500 for it, so there I was. I picked Spotter because Spotter is an example of about 8 things on this list. So it's a lot of fun to start with something that's going to be an example I can refer back to, but I'm going to show a whole lot of other examples and ideas in this list. But, well, like I'm saying, with the tax return twilight, a lot of this has been burned off the market. So it's gone. It's sold. What's left is high priced. I sold mine for $500 and I thought, man, I almost felt guilty for charging that much. But now you got to pay at least $7 to play, pay to play on a Spotter with no box. Not even with a box styrofoam. You got to pay $700. This is a lousy graphic. I use Krita, which is a very free, cheap, lousy program, but I figured out how to make things work. Okay, so this is a very simplistic idea about buying and selling. If you bought something on eBay for $100, paid for me $9 in tax, and then maybe $10 or $11 to ship it, you're paying $120 for a $100 item. And then you go to sell it later, and you can only sell it for market value, market price, $100. But after eBay bends you over and says, bend over, and then, Chevy Chase is like, hi, I'm Chevy Chase, you're going to lose $35. This is the reality that most collectors are in. And I sell a lot of stuff so I can buy more stuff, and then I realize as I'm selling, I'm like, the reality is you're losing money. Even if you bought it for $100, you tell your mind I bought it for $100, and then you sell it for $100, you think you're breaking even. No, you're not. You got to look at the selling costs, you got to look at the additional buying costs, you got to factor all that out. This is a loss. Buying it for $100, selling it for $100, $35 loss. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Next, you've got to be very realistic with your pricing. Now, if you're selling your old iGear stuff, like I was going to dump my iGear stuff, but it's so cheap, and you could get it so cheap. And if I were to list it for the same prices as these people, it's just wasting my time. The reality to sell your iGear stuff, you're going to need to list this stuff to like $20 or $18 or something like that. Because if you list it what everybody else is charging, then why would yours sell? You got to think realistically. If you're going to sell in today's market in 2025, in April, probably into May of this, you're going to need to price it aggressively if you want to sell. Because this stuff will just sit here forever and not sell because there's not a high level of demand for it. But if somebody's like, just get it cheap to tinker around with, that's the person picking up this old stuff that's not very sought after. Speaking of not very sought after by Mike, Fansaway's QuakeWave. You got to be realistic on this. Now, this is one of those things that falls into a category that I would probably make a whole video about it if you want me to, but it's figures that spiked up to $400 for a while. People paid $400 for this thing on the secondary market, and now you're not going to get that out of it. Your sunk cost for $400 is just a thing of the past. Don't worry about it. I mean, you got to think about today's market. If you like it, don't sell it. But here's one for $65. Now, it says, read. I'm sure there's something wrong with it, or it's missing parts, or I don't know. I don't know anything about it. But if I wanted a QuakeWave for $65 to stand on the shelf and look like that, I don't want to say look good, but look like that, then, I'd probably go for that one. But with all this, where would you price a good QuakeWave in good condition with the box? And let's just slide into that. I'd probably price it around $130 to $150. But if you want to sell fast, $120. Also want to point out, with the box, this is a debate that I've had with a lot of people, and they say the box doesn't matter. The box doesn't affect the price. I guarantee you it affects the price. Even if the person buying it's going to throw the box away themselves, the fact that you kept the box makes them think, maybe they're not thinking it directly, it's an indirect thought, but they're thinking this is actually better taken care of. This person took better care of this product because they took the time to keep the box. They went through the trouble of keeping the box. I mean, that's a thought process. People probably won't say it out loud or even want to admit it, but it does go through people's minds, maybe subconsciously. Here's some more iGear stuff, and I do want to say this. There are some gems out there in some of these old third parties. Like, some people still like the iGear Seekers, and it's the cone heads and stuff that you don't get very often or frequently. But, I mean, $200 for 3 cone heads. They're not truly masterpiece scale, so they're its own thing. It's a novelty if you want that kind of stuff. Next up, you've got to pick the platform to sell on. I do not suggest, if you're just starting to sell on multi-platform. I wouldn't suggest that. It's very hard to keep up with. I've dealt with a lot of people that had multiple posts, but they were like, well, I forgot to take it down. It's sold on another platform. I thought they were just lying to me, but the reality of it is they're just inexperienced sellers that are not able to juggle multiple platforms. I see it all the time. So pick your platform, pick your poison. Maybe when you get used to one, spread to another and juggle them properly. But Facebook. Okay, Facebook groups are probably the lowest sales way to sell your stuff. I will say I am very proud of all the Facebook users. For the extreme level of fiscal responsibility, I would give them a gold medal on my other finance channel. But when it comes to trying to offload your stuff to these people in the Facebook groups, they're trying to give you half of what eBay or fair market value would be, maybe even less. And most of the time, you put something up at a fair market value that would probably sell on eBay, nobody will even engage with it. It's ridiculous. They expect to get garage sale prices, like a digital garage sale. Facebook, they look at the F in the Facebook as digital garage sale symbol, I guess. But I've found this over and over. Yes, some people have done well on Facebook and sold on Facebook, but even the people that do well, I notice their prices are generally between 25 to 30% lower than eBay prices, and that's how they succeed. Just bear that in mind, but you don't have to pay the eBay fees, and there's a little bit more flexibility there, and it's a little more fun because you kind of feel like you're giving it pretty much straight to a fan. Next up is Mercari. I've got a couple of things to talk about when it comes to Mercari. So, first thing I want to talk about with Mercari is that there are more fees. So that'll be the second one, because I got a better picture for fees. But not a whole lot more than eBay fees and stuff. But eBay's the big one. We'll talk about it last. I took a little screenshot here of some Fans Toys stuff. And I haven't spent much time on Mercari lately. So this is kind of fun, looking around, poking around on Mercari. I will say that the stuff is priced all over the place. You can see for yourself if there's something here you're interested in, what are the prices on them, but you do the same things that I would do when it comes to pricing. I would definitely look at what is selling on the platform. So one of the things about pricing is, if I've already looked at eBay, but I come over here to Mercari, if people are charging more on Mercari, then you might be able to charge more. I doubt it though. But mostly what I see is people charge less than eBay on Mercari. But it's all over the place. You can see for yourself right here. And with that, let's get into my quick Mercari example. Something I'm not going to buy. I just saw it and I was like, it just called my name. 65 bucks. This is the magic number here. Turn 65 bucks into 80 bucks for the seller, for the buyer, sorry, because delivery fee of $7.29, which is probably only going to cost $4.50 to ship this through Ground Advantage. Buyer protection fee, shady practice, but they kept some of the fees on the buyer, $2.60. The rest of the fees go on the seller. I believe is a flat 10. I believe that. I don't know 100%, but that's what I believe. I don't really sell on there. I listed like 10 things, nothing sold, and I delisted them and said, I'm not worried about this platform so much, but Talker Art likes this platform, so, I mean, he speaks volumes about it. You pay $80.97, so this is a turn-off to buyers. So this is one of the things, this is one of the reasons why this was a turn-off. eBay was going to follow this model, but they did not because, well, they watched Mercari almost fail. Next, I'm going to talk about eBay, and I haven't talked so much about the sold listings. This is Fantasy Spotter, the Reflector, sold. Somebody sold one for $350. Here's the thing. They put that up for $350. That thing probably sold instantaneously on March 8th. Like, it probably took 5 minutes for someone to go, click, buy it now. That's probably what happened there. But I love showing this on this spotter. It does kind of follow a lot of these things. So when you look at eBay, though, biggest platform to sell, eBay is getting greedy AF. And I want to say this, one of the biggest Transformer, G1 Transformer sellers, dealers, is Wheeljack Lab. I bought a lot of stuff. A lot of the things you see in my video, a lot of the G1 Transformers came from lots from him. Like, I'd get 8 or 12 for 30 bucks, missing almost everything, but that's kind of how it works. That's why I got them so cheap. And I learned a lot from Chris. He taught me a lot of stuff, but he basically educated me. His response to my lowball offers over the years, he gave me a lot of education until, I guess, other people started working for him and taking over, and I don't really deal with him anymore. Now, I want to say this. When I started collecting this line, this is not Transformers, but this is Spiral Zone. This is a resource where I was looking to see what all is complete. So you need to know your resource. You need to have your knowledge of what's complete, what's not complete. And now I know, so I can just look at it. I don't really need to even look at resources anymore. But Wheeljack's Lab had all this stuff 100% complete and sold it for over $100 a figure. And they sold really, really fast. Now I'm noticing, and this is what you have to understand, if you're not complete or you have to be realistic with the market, look at the prices. Everything was priced $109, $110, $120, $113, and all sold really well 2-3 years ago. This is priced accordingly to the new market and the lack of completeness. All right, so next up is, I'm going to cram two things real quick in here into one, and it's Sell It Faster. Under the Sell It Faster button, I could not get a screenshot. I could not get it to work. But under there's something called Send Offers. You go to click Send Offers, and you click all the items you want to send offers on. Send offers, plug in 10% or whatever you want to send offers on. Generally 10% is good. And send them out to people to, like, reignite interest in your items. So remember to send offers. I think this day and age, probably 75% of the stuff sold on eBay is from an offer sent or somebody feeling like they're getting a good deal. Everybody buying right now needs to feel like they're getting a good deal. Me personally, when I'm buying stuff, I want to feel like I got a good deal. Next up, combined shipping. Always want to combine shipping. If somebody's going to be buying a few things from you, hook them up. Hook somebody up. Somebody's going to be taking 8, 3, 5 figures off your hands. Hook them up. Give them a 10, 15% off. Give them combined shipping. Even lose money on shipping for somebody. Just, that's the world we're in now. But plus, when you're selling stuff, it feels good to hook somebody up. And when they get it, I mean, if I sell something to somebody, they're always happy with it. And it's always fair price and all that kind of stuff, is what they say. And with that, always want to do combined shipping. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do if you're on these different platforms. Mercari is not good at combined shipping. You need to make a whole new listing for somebody and do it. Just do it. Like, hey, you want these 4 items, this is the price, this is the shipping price, and make it happen for them. Make it happen for them. I mean, bend over backwards for people. We're in 2025. This is what's going to happen to sell some stuff and reward people for buying in volume. Combined shipping. Last, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but you have to know this if you're selling. 2025, the 1099K limit is $2,500. My tax person... well, my tax guy actually had cancer, and so had someone else subbed in this year, and she gave me a lot of tips, but she did say she wouldn't. She advised me not to talk about this on YouTube, but I'm talking about it anyway. I don't really care. I'm going to tell you $2,500 if you are selling on eBay or any of the other places. eBay sneaks in some extra fees and stuff that is going to tack on. So if you hit $2,499, well, you could pretty much guess it's going to be $2,500, $2,612 or something. I don't really understand all of that. I tried to break it all down. I tried to analyze it 7 different ways. I don't 100% know, but whatever you know your sales are, it seems to be just a little bit more on your 1099. It makes no sense. I do believe they don't back out returns. So the only thing I can figure out is they're not backing your returns off of your 1099, which I think is ridiculous. I can't prove it, but that's just the way it feels. 2026, $600. Let me tell you this. I'll probably sell $600 before January 1st and I wake up, because somebody's going to be drunk wanting to buy some Transformers, partying on New Year's Eve, and go, man, I want that. $600 worth of stuff. I don't know. It's happened before. It'll probably happen in 2026 just because it's set at $600. It's partially a joke, partially, well, I will definitely laugh about it if that happens. So I'm just going to leave this with you, the average 2025 tax refund. I believe most people burn through their refund at this point. And let me know what you think about this. What do you think about these tips and tricks? But of course, leave your tips and tricks down below. And I might even upgrade and make a tips and tricks 3.0 video down the road. Check your hair out.